Hey, how you doing? It's Michelle Allen of A Sharp Photo, the one and only plus size certified photographer in the world. Today, I wanted to give you some really high level basic information about black and white photography. All right. Because we all have phones and we're all familiar with filters, most people think of black and white photography in terms of a filter. I take a color photo and then I put this filter on it, and that makes it black and white, right? When you come at it that way, you kind of miss a lot of opportunities. All right. So the most important thing to know about black and white photography is that black and white photography is color photography where you can't see the colors. So if you think of it that way, you can really you can make better choices when you go into the image, and then you can also make better choices in terms of post processing, right? So what do I mean when I say that black and white photography is color where you can't see the color? So if you take a black and white image, whether it's one you actually took, whether it's one that was supposed to be black and white, it's converted, it doesn't matter. Any black and white image, if you take it into Photoshop, you can actually adjust the colors. So on my UCF shirt hoodie here, if I were to adjust the yellow, I could make it darker or lighter. And what would happen is if this was a black and white photo, this would just look light. But then when I adjust the yellow slider, you would see it get darker or lighter because colors have frequencies. And even when it's black and white, those frequencies are still there. And photo processing software can see it. So knowing that when you take a black and white image, that the colors can still be registered, if not seen, um, there are things to think about. Like if you intend for it to be a black and white photo. Now, if you took a picture, what some people do is they use, some people, I've done it in the past, some people use black and white to cover up normally like lighting issues. So if you got like mixed lighting, so you got a fluorescent, you're in a room and there's fluorescent lights here and tungsten lights there, and you just cannot make that work. Black and white, I'm done. Or just from a creativity standpoint, there's not much going on. They figure they'll make it black and white to fix it. Sometimes that works. That's not the best approach. So if you know that you're going to create a black and white image, it's good to either have a solid understanding of the lighting and the background and what's going on, or a solid understanding of color. So if you know that it's going to be black and white, and you say, okay, well, I'm going to make this black and white, but she has maybe pale or medium pale skin. She has a green dress on. So that means I want either a red background or maybe even a purple background, which is like, but it doesn't matter. Remember, even though you can't see the colors can still be adjusted. And what you want is colors maybe on the opposite side of the color wheel, or here, or, maybe even here. You know what I mean? That's okay, but you want colors to kind of juxtapose or be opposite to each other in the image. So then you can make adjustments in terms of contrast and light. So you don't have to have the people in the image. There doesn't have to be black and white in the actual image. You can actually work dark and light if you set the colors up correctly going in. All right. So when you get into Photoshop with these things, you can actually pick the color. So like I said, she had a green dress on. You can say, well, I wanted to punch a little bit more. I want it to be a little bit darker. You can adjust green, and that'll pull the darkness or the luminance of that dress down, And then if you're like, well, I need that red background to pop a little bit more, or I need it to be a little bit lighter, you can specifically adjust red, even though you can't see red because you made it black and white, still works, you know. So there are some cameras that have a feature where you can actually shoot in black and white, and that's cool because at least you can see it on the front end. But the more you do this, the more you have an understanding, especially if you don't, you really need to, and you don't got to jump all the way into color theory. If you just look at a color wheel or just have a color wheel around and you understand which colors are opposite each other, that'll take you such a long way, not just for black and white photography, but for your imagery in general. So, black and white photography is cool, not just cool, but much cooler than people realize if you plan for it and if you set things up the right way. All right, y'all. Eyes up. Stay sharp.